Hello chess Neurites. In this Endgame masterclass, we'll see how World Champion Gukesh converts positions that he has carefully shaped in his favor. The positions weren't winning to begin with, but after careful strategic restructuring, he takes full control and plays with precision. If you want to improve your ability to convert subtle advantages into wins, this is a lesson worth studying from Gukesh's instructive games. So let's get started. This is the first example from the game of Gukesh. Gukesh has white pieces. He already has the double bishop advantage, and how he makes use of these double bishop advantage to convert this advantageous position into a win is instructive to see. So this position, of course, he's in a check. Just to deal with that, and this b2 pawn is also being attacked, so he plays the move queen d2. The plan is pretty simple. He's ready to exchange the queens. Again, he's not shying away from endgame because, as I mentioned earlier, he has the double bishop advantage. Then queen takes d2. He plays knight takes d2. Castle. He develops the bishop. Then black plays bishop d7. So really interesting move because black wants to put the bishop on c6 and develop this knight because that bishop on c6 will be a bit more active. So Gukesh castles on the queen side. So far so good. Then his opponent plays bishop c6. Gukesh replies with f3. So a really subtle move to restrict that bishop's activity on the king side. So that bishop was a bit active. Now after f3, not so much. Then knight a7 was played. So Gukesh's pieces are developed. The king is safe. He has restricted that bishop as well. Now he tries to further improve his pieces. He plays the move knight b3. Now the rook is not blocked anymore, and he could bring the knight to a5 or d4 depending on what black does. So black played rook f d8 in this position, and then knight a5 was played, again keeping up the pressure on the queen side. Then black played h6. So Gukesh went for knight takes c6. Now it's really important to understand that the position is fairly open, and when the position is open, then the bishops are more effective. So what's the reason behind bishop pair being so great? Why do we hear about this over and over? Double bishop advantage. Why do we not hear about double knight advantage or bishop knight advantage or double rook advantage, something like that? The reason is that the coordination of the bishops, that is unmatched, because one bishop will control the light squares, and the other one will actually control the dark squares. So what happens is that they are not sort of interfering in each other's activity. For example, if the knights are there and if there is only one outpost square, then the problem will be that only one knight would get there and other knight won't be that active. But that is not the case with the bishop. The dark square bishop will do its task. The light square bishop will also do its task. So that's why Gukesh eliminates that bishop of black. Then he improves the rook's position. Now he's ready to exchange the rooks as well. b3, this pawn needs the defense. And f6 was played. Gukesh is ready to exchange the rooks as well. So see, it's really important to understand that Gukesh has recognized that if he just exchanges the pieces, then these two bishops, it will be a bit too much for the opponent to handle. When the position is fairly on the open side, just two knights are there. The knights won't be that effective. Then king f8, time to activate the king, and here is where Gukesh starts to convert this advantage into something much more, into a win. And how he does that in a simple manner, a very natural manner, is something worth studying. So he plays the move king d2, improving the king's position. King e7, king c3. There is no reason to not continue improving the king's position. So back to the basics. Really important. Then g5 was played by black. Gukesh is like, all right, nothing is happening on the king side. I'll continue the king's journey. Then king a5. See, look at what he did in these moves. King d2, king c3, king b4, king f5, and then king a6. That king 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple chess. In endgame, it's not about king safety, it is actually about king activity. And Gukesh showed this in a really simple but instructive manner. Then black played the move, knight c8. Gukesh won the pawn, and now he has got this pass pawn as well. Then he played b4. He wants to play b5 to create another pass pawn. And then he went on to win the game shortly. The later part is not important thing for us. But what are some important things that we can learn from this game? It was about after exchanging the queens, how he made the king safe and completed his development. Then he restricted that black's bishop. Then he eliminated that black's bishop because he knew that double bishop versus double knight in a fairly open position is going to favor him. Then he exchanged the rooks as well because he knows that if the rooks are exchanged, then he will be able to do much more with the bishops, and the king will also be able to get active much more easily. And then the king march started. King d2, king c3, king b4, king a5, king a6, and then the game was over. A really nice demonstration of precise endgame play by Gukesh. Now, let's look at another example from one of his other games. So, in this game, Gukesh has black pieces. And this time the thing is that he doesn't seem to be having that big of an advantage. So he has some space advantage on the king side. Then this queen is quite flexibly placed, defending this, attacking this as well. But at the same time, the thing is that white doesn't have that big weaknesses in their position. So how Gukesh slowly manages to put pressure is worth seeing. So Gukesh played in this position. King g7. He's improving the king's position. Once again, he's not in a rush. He's like, okay, in some cases, if I capture this, maybe queen b8 check and then queen takes b7 type of ideas can happen. I don't want to allow any of those checks. I'll just improve the king's position. Now, white in this position, by the way, an important point to note, queen d6 is not possible because capture, and the king is coming on time to stop that pass pawn. So white played the move queen b8. White is like, I want to create the activity on the queen side. Now, Gukesh played a really instructive move. So white is trying to do something on the queen side. So Gukesh shifts the tension on the king side. He plays the move queen f6. He's like, all right, you want this pawn, you take it, but you'll need to give this pawn as well. And the drawback is that, so some of you would be thinking, all right, but what if white takes this? Yes, white took this, then this, then this, and this. So why did Gukesh go for this? This is a pass pawn. This is a pass pawn. So isn't it just equal? Not so much. Because the thing is that the queen at key moments can give these checks and then harass that king and then push the pass pawn. And that option is something that white does not have. White does not have those checks. So white played queen d6. White is like, all right, I'll cover this diagonal. Gukesh is not worried. He gives the check, king h2, and now he pushes the pawn. So the problem for white in this position is that white doesn't have time to play c6 because there is this move e2, and after c7, black has really nice move queen g3 check. King, that important check that Gukesh has. He recognized that his pass pawn is stronger than white's pass pawn because of those important checks that he can give at key moments. This. So, I'm sorry, not the rook. So, black actually promotes queen with a check, and this is. So, that's why in this position, after e3, just pushing the pawn won't cut it for white. So, white gives this check, but Gukesh is not worried, just king h7, and white has run out of useful checks. Then queen f4 was played in this position. In this, Gukesh, you have to be careful to not play this e2 because then this pawn would fall with a check and white might get perpetual checks and get away with a draw. Gukesh just played queen f2. He's like, all right, you exchange and then I'll promote. Then his opponent played queen d4. He's like, if you push, capture queen. But once again, that important check comes to the rescue of Gukesh. He plays the move queen g3 check. king g1. This was a really nice demonstration of Gukesh not being afraid of opponent's activity on the queen side. He creates his own activity on the king side and he is more confident about his pass pawn because of the availability of the checks and the activity of his queen. And because of that, he won this equalish looking endgame in effortless manner. So, thanks everyone for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.